Welcome to Coffee Break with Rachel V. Hill, presented by Superbook Sports. Taking a daily look at the biggest stories in Denver sports and interacting live with you, the Coffee Break fam. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of joe, and enjoy your coffee break. Here's your host, Rachel V. Hill.
I'm still screaming. I didn't have a sip of alcohol yesterday, you guys, and I feel like I partied all night long. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. The Nuggets are NBA champions. Good morning, D-Mac. How are you today?
Rachel, it was just a few hours and by the way, let me tell you, I really enjoy watching this stuff with you. It's really fun. And we got a nice little team going on. And we actually... And you're a good sport because you got a walking boot on. And I just kind of was inspired by all the confetti laying all over the court to lay down on the court. So we laid down at the free throw line to do a post-game report amongst the confetti. And you know what? That's cool, man. That was cool as hell. And I it was special being at home, wasn't it? And it just for a pinch, I was like, gosh darn it, I wish this happened with the Avalanche. I wish it was at home, not on the road. But, that was that particular journey because last night was wild that place was like crazy on the court, in the hallways, in the locker room. It was nuts how much stuff was just going on, Rachel, all at the same time.
I know. I'm still trying to wrap my head. Of course, this morning I've been talking to everybody and they've been like, well, what's the coolest part? Like, what was the most fun? And I'm like, I don't know. My mind can't comprehend everything that went down last night yet. But I even got 8 hours. Well, I got 6 hours of sleep. You got 0 hours of sleep, D-Mac. You went all night practically on 104 through the fan too.
Yeah, not much, but that's okay. That's big deal. That's where you run off adrenaline. And listen, if you can't get excited to do cool things and be excited about this, then why would we even be doing this business? So
did anyone call in at 4 a.m.?
What's that?
Did anyone call in at 4 a.m.?
Oh, yeah. People, I've done every radio shift in the book. And there's always somebody listening. And I love personally truck drivers, delivery guys, just now like Uber or Lyft or, these people are just awesome. Love them. And especially, not that I'm against anybody else, but I really do appreciate what radio means to delivery people and truck drivers. So they got my heart and my soul. We're kindred spirits. I know what it means to them to have something to connect to on the radio. And we heard from people from Australia, London, where else? Spain, I think. We were getting calls from all over the world, basically. So 4 a.m. is, it's a very relative concept. We heard from 2 or 3 people on the East Coast, and it was, what's 4 a.m.? It's nothing. What's time, Rachel? What is time?
What is time? Okay, I love this comment. It says, congratulations, fans, but let me tell you, that was the worst basketball ever. Hard to watch all those bricks being shot, which is so true. It wasn't a good basketball game, but obviously the end result was what everybody actually cared about.
Well, it wasn't a good
bad
shooting.
Basketball.
It wasn't a good shooting offensive game, but the intensity level of defense and what was going on there, I get it. There was a little spastic and kind of crazy and out of control, and the shooting was off, no doubt about it. But Rachel, what about how intense the defense was? What about the effort that was put forward? What about Michael Malone making a strategic switch to put in Bruce Brown with 5 minutes to go and sitting Michael Porter Jr. on the bench after Michael Porter Jr. had been incredibly adding a huge contribution the rest of the game to just have that nuance, like this is the right time, and then it worked just like that. Okay, I know what you're talking about, scoring and points and all that, but what about all of those elements? Aren't those part of the game too?
They are for sure. And I didn't expect it to be the defensive battle that it was, but honestly, It was really fun because it was super intense. I
intense.
went back and I watched the clips that we did where we're like watching the count or the countdown essentially go on, and we all stepped forward to see if Jimmy Butler, I think it was Jimmy Butler, was going to make that final shot for Miami. And the sigh of relief, but it was like a minute-long clip. And honestly, I still feel like it felt like 5 minutes. Like it felt so long because it was just like, okay, here we go. And then that final moment and everyone starts screaming and you just look around and like there's a woman who was wiping tears from her eyes in the video that I have, and like it was so magical. And even if you weren't there, even if you were downtown or you were at home hanging out with loved ones, I feel like everybody has that exact same emotion where it was just a magical thing because it was the first time ever.
My wife, who really is not a basketball fan whatsoever, she did get caught up in this stuff at the last moment, which I think is wonderful. And she said she had tears in her eyes. When Jamal got choked up, she said she got choked up. Mm-hmm. She is a little kind of a mess looking at Jokic and wife and the daughter. And there's all sorts of videos going on with that. I am wondering, first of all, I will say, I did hear about the shooting in downtown Denver, and I'm saddened and disappointed by it. So my thoughts are definitely with the people that were injured and some in really bad condition. So I think that's awful. I think that's the action of one lunatic. It's not reflective of a larger slice of the pie. My son lives downtown. He was in that area, within an hour of when that shooting happened. So I think that's scary. And I think that sucks. I don't think it's indicative of downtown, but it did happen. It did happen. And I hope the person that was responsible, is justice is served on that. That being said, the videos of Aaron Gordon.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
I
mean, I thought it was something when I saw Christian Brown leaving without a shirt on and sunglasses with like joggers with his friends. And that was something. We had two Nuggets that left with their shirts off.
I know.
The two guys just left the building with their shirts off. And from what I understand, Gordon was trying to he lives downtown and he's trying to go there, but his street was blocked off. So he just said, forget it. And I'm just going to walk from wherever he was to wherever he was living. And I mean, it's a wild video.
I know.
It's just crazy. Like Aaron Gordon, shirtless, still in his game shorts. He never changed out of his game shorts. Which is so funny because, Rachel, how much time have we spent around these guys and how meticulous are they with how they wear and their clothes and all their stuff? And he must have just said, forget my clothes. And he just left without a shirt and his game shorts on.
Let's be honest, D-Mac, the second you start drinking anything, it gets hot and toasty anyway, so you don't want clothes on. But we do want to point out that the parade will be Thursday, so you could definitely go hang out with these guys and watch them all, as we will bring in our very own James Merilatt. James, the beard is still here, my friend. It's here.
Yep. It is going here momentarily, though. We are ready.
Are we getting some live coffee break action?
Well, I'll be back and it'll be gone.
No. Hey, you gotta lose like half of a mustache or I'd say that you have to live on coffee break lose half of a mustache, and then take it off. Take the mustache off. Okay, just leave it like that. That's perfect, and then you can take the rest off later.
That looks good.
Great.
This might be the best look I've had in a month.
That's perfect.
Great. We can't wait to see a clean-shaven James. But James, you're going viral right now on Freezing Cold Takes. I believe that's what it's called.
I made it.
How you feeling?
I made it. And I was serious when I tweeted today. The biggest embarrassment is that I had a typo in the original tweet.
What's the typo?
It says 5 year from now instead of 5 years from now. I'm like, oh gosh, 1 million people have seen my typo. Listen, hey, you're going to be wrong every once in a while, right? The only people who are never wrong are the people who never make a prediction.
Yep.
I had my doubts about Michael Malone, serious doubts. I was obviously very vocal about him, and he proved me wrong. And I've said it umpteen times. I hope he does. He did. He built a tremendous culture And that was, I don't know if it was the number one reason, but it's high up on the list as to why this team did something that I never thought they would do. So, hey, freezing cold takes, all the Nuggets fans, anybody who wants to bash me for it, bring it on. I earned it. I deserved it. And it still is it's a good piece of humble pie and crow. I'll put it that way.
I was defending James when I was doing the overnight shift on the radio because people want their pound of flesh, James. And what I said is, well, James is a native. James is a passionate fan. And Dan Jacobs brought up, James believed in it so much he started his own magazine, radio station, podcasting before there was podcasting. I don't know if people actually understand everything James and his pal, great friend of mine too, Doug Otwell, actually did back in the day to sort of plant their flag in the sports landscape when I'm sure everybody told you were insane to do it. So the thought that you aren't a Nuggets fan or don't root for them to succeed, is purely asinine. And I know that you have your own work experience over there, but I'll say that's bunk too, that you're some sort of disgruntled, bitter ex-employee. That's another fallacy. It's just not true. So even though I disagree with James about the Mike Malone stuff, and we've had those debates, I certainly respect James's intelligence, which is off the charts, and his dedication to the team itself. And if spending money and watching the game and paying for Fubo and dedicating your life around it in terms of how you spend your time isn't a reflection of loving a team, I don't know what is. So I'm with you there, James. I don't agree with you about Malone, or I didn't agree with you about Malone, but I certainly agree with you about your right and the way you went about having your opinion.
I appreciate that, D-Mac. And look, my takes, whether it's Vic Fangio, Michael Malone, CU, whatever, one, I honestly believe him, or I wouldn't say him. I'm not smart enough to keep it all straight. And then the other part of it is, it comes from a good place of, I want these teams to win. I'm born and raised here. I've been here 5 decades. I saw something last night I never thought I would see. So, sometimes I go about it maybe a way that rubs people the wrong way. That's fine. I get it. But, they can have their pound of flesh. Last night was the time to give it to me. That's fine. I've never needed coffee more on coffee break than I do today. I'll put it that way.
I'm with you.
I'll tell you this. I didn't know things could be as chaotic after a game than last night.
Oh my gosh.
That was wild. That was just a trip. And I'll tell you why. Because you don't have to deal with ice and you just have more floor space. I'm telling you guys, there were things going on. It was a playground for the athletes and their families. Things were going on all over the place. In fact, I took pictures of Christian Brown with his shirt off, seeing Michael Malone, like seeing your dad trying to sneak out of the house with the car keys. And I did feel a little weird about it. Like I said, I actually sent a note to the Nuggets PR, and I'm like, hey, this feels like I'm crossing a line. Are you okay? And they were like, sure. What?
Did we see the PR people, D-Mac? That's not surprising. They were enjoying their celebration as well.
It was just like, whatever, man. Like, there were no rules. So because there were really no rules, there was some really amazing videos and photos that came after the game last night. Just some incredible stuff.
I wrote in my column today, the lead sentence was something to the effect of the Denver Nuggets are NBA champions. And I said, that is crazy for me to write as aliens invade Earth or human walks on Mars, right? Like, possible, sure. Probable, not in my lifetime. And I just think that's what you saw last night was everybody just enjoying something that they never thought they would see. It was a party. Thursday is going to be nuts. It is. And we've enjoyed, Avs parades and Broncos parades. But, man, this is a long-suffering fan base, and the Nuggets are ingrained in this city. And everybody kept saying 47 years. That's their NBA existence. It's 56 years if you go back to when it started, 1967. So, it was just one of those – it was one of those magical moments. I'll never forget where I was when it happened, and the whole ride was great. And the celebration, like, I heard you guys talking about AG. Like, think about the scenes last night, right? It's AG, it's Jokic and Murray going in the pool. It's Stan Kroenke thinking Lisa Salter's ear was a microphone. It was Jamal Murray's interview with SVP was, I mean, it was priceless. He was 2.5 to the wind. I mean, all of it was just great. It was, and you can't script it. You have no idea what's going to happen. And there are those moments that you'll remember forever, kind of like Gabe, going crazy, and Bo Byram getting stopped by the cops, and crazy drunk Bednar. Like, it's priceless. It's priceless.
Let me tell, I had a little bit of an observation that I didn't pick up on until after the game. I think a lot of guys who played a lot in this series lost weight. I really do. I think the length of the season, the grind of it, I think it's difficult for these guys to actually keep. There were guys after the game that I'm looking at, I'm like, Jamal Murray looks significantly skinnier than he did like a month ago. So does Jokic. And even Christian Brown, who's pretty yoked, was kind of leaning out. I really do think this is an unusual thing for a basketball player, and it's hard to keep weight on. So let me put this past you. I think the guys like Reggie Jackson look fine. Thomas Bryant looked fine. Vlatko looked fine because they haven't been playing for 6 weeks. But the starters, the 8 guys that were playing, take a peek at Jamal Murray, man. That guy has lost weight. And so think about this combination. You are losing weight. You can't keep weight on. You've had adrenaline surging through you like you just can't even imagine. And then you drink as much as possible, as quickly as possible for an hour straight before you even that was insane what was going on. I mean, it was crazy.
Oh, it was a scene.
The press conferences were the best press conferences I've ever seen because they're fun. They're just full of happy emotion and them joking around and finally being able to be like, you know what? I don't even care what you guys are going to write about me. I'm just going to have fun with this. I want to get into Jokic, but just the Bruce Brown AG press conference made me laugh so hard when they asked Bruce Brown about his future and what it looks like. And of course they were like, oh, golf and yada, yada. And then AG goes, he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid. And my goodness, but I'm also seeing there's lots of stuff going around saying that he wants to be a Nugget again. So it's
I was joking around when I asked him, I go, come on, Bruce, you want to stay here in Denver, right? And he goes, for sure. But that was it. And AG just started laughing because that's your answer for sure. But I think Mike Singer might have even got next to him and talked to him a little bit. I'll cross my fingers. I'll cross my fingers for him. That's for sure.
I will say this too, and everybody, and look, they've driven me crazy. And Mark Jackson last night, talk about a guy that was going down swinging. It was painful. But I will say this: once they won it, and once they were finally in the club, the national media gave the Nuggets their props. I mean, SportsCenter was an hour straight of nothing but Nuggets. It was SVP just doing Nuggets. NBA TV, it kind of was like, hey, you got to earn your way into the club. And then once you're here, it's like you've been here all along. That's how last night felt. So that was fun too. We weren't on the outside looking in anymore.
Oh, and hey, get ready for it. Get ready to be the favorites. Get ready to be the headline story. Yep. Get ready for Jamal Murray to go to consecutive All-Star games in a row. I mean, get ready for Jokic to win the MVP next year. I mean, get ready for all of this. And when they lift you up, they love tearing you down too. But this is what we asked for, guys. The respect, the attention, understanding where the Mountain Time Zone is. Get ready for all of it because we're about to get all the attention we've been clamoring and kind of whining about to a little degree about not getting.
Get ready for a lot of 8:30 tip-offs.
Oh, yeah, that's the truth. One thing on Mark Jackson, you guys, so I'm walking around in a boot yesterday because of all my sprained ankle. You guys have all heard the story. And he walks in the building and he looks at me and he goes, what the heck happened to you? Because he's also in a boot because he tore his Achilles.
Oh, really?
The man tore his Achilles and he's walking around in a boot too. So both of them are just joking around. We're like, well, I guess that's what happens. Hopefully they win a championship so we can rest our foot.
I rode an elevator with Richard Jefferson, and let me tell you, 3 buttons unbuttoned is disconcerting. I'm just saying it's too many buttons. One, yeah, of course. 2, all right. The third one, I don't know, man. I don't think you can go 3 unbuttons.
I might
James
try it
would be
out.
on
I might
It's
try
a
it
man
out.
thing,
Hey,
so.
I might be a whole new man. I might come down 3 buttons, clean shaven. We'll see.
I was gonna say I can't relate to this conversation, so I'll just let the men speak about it. But James, we're gonna let you go shave so you don't feel so crazy. I'm sure.
James, will James come back though after he's clean shaven?
Oh, absolutely.
okay,
We'll bring
okay.
James back. Don't worry. All right, James, go shave. And while we do that, I want to give you guys this quote from Jokic because again, he's just incredible when it comes to the parade. Here we go.
You said after the Lakers win, you said you were surprised that you didn't feel more. So I'm curious what you are feeling right now, and if you're looking forward to a parade coming up in Denver.
When's the parade?
Thursday.
No. I need to go home.
Oh my gosh, absolutely incredible. Good morning, Will Peterson. Congratulations to you, my friend. I know you are also a lifelong Nuggets fan, so it's exciting for all of us. That Jokic press conference was so good, D-Mac, and that response from Jokic is just so priceless, and I need to give you credit because you were right when you said all he wants to do is go home. He doesn't care about the parade. He just wants to go home.
Yeah, I had to figure out a way. Listen, that's a little bit of a setup. So I was trying to figure out a way to get about the parade. I'm not going to say I was trying to trick him because he certainly would have been well within his rights to know the parade was on Thursday. I just had a feeling he wouldn't, and he'd be disappointed by it. So all my hopes and dreams were realized when he had that moment. That is, I'm seeing what it's doing. It's got millions of views now. So it's just one of those moments, right? But if you actually get past that, he actually answered very eloquently what it meant for him to actually win and what it feels like. And it was a very interesting quote. I wrote about it at denversports.com as well as a bunch of other sort of behind the scenes Jokic stuff. This is a fascinating guy, and it's great to see Will here. But he's a complicated, fascinating guy who is just motivated by things that we're just not used to hearing about.
Sure.
Well, and I just put it up at denversports.com because you referenced it, but I put the video in. The 2 signature Jokic moments last night, besides the D-Mac question, were throwing Jamal Murray in the pool in the bowels of Ball Arena. D-Mac, did you even know they had pools down there? I did not know that.
I guess I didn't know it, but I've never seen like the inside of the, locker room. I haven't gone beyond just the regular.
Right. Rachel, you sound like you've seen them before.
I haven't seen them, but I've heard about them. This is like so very, very random. But if you are you're a Bachelorette fan, Will. So You probably remember Maddie Pewitt and how she was dating Pewitt, whatever the heck her last name is. She was dating MPJ.
Yes.
You remember when the big COVID situation happened with the team?
Sort of. There was a lot of them, but one of them, yes.
So the rumor is that MPJ had brought Maddie over to the pool so they could all use the hot tub and all hang out. And then later, everybody got COVID. And so it was like, no one is allowed to come into the facility ever again.
Wow.
It's crazy. Again, I'm just saying what I've heard in the bowels of Ball Arena. But yes, that is one of the rumors. So I knew there were pools down there and hot tubs for anyone who wants to hang out.
Okay, so they have pools and hot tubs. We're always ragging on the practice facilities of the Nuggets and the Avalanche, but I got to give them a little upgrade. Pools and hot tubs, that's an upgrade. So that's a little bit of an upgrade. And then the second video of Jokic that I just included in the same story at denversports.com, his daughter playing the drums on both of his trophies just warms your heart. You're the Grinch if that doesn't warm your heart. It's the cutest thing ever. And I got to give her props. She's not that old, and it's like 10 o'clock at night, and she's not throwing any tantrums. She's hanging in there. She's playing the drums. That was really special too. So, D-Mac, you had some great stuff. Jokic had so much fun, but I thought those were his 2 best sellies, the pool and the one with the fam.
Yeah, the one that I caught that was really right after he took those photos. And just to describe what it was like an area where it was like the ultimate photo booth. Right? You think of going into a photo booth and, it's like quick Polaroids. Well, this is like a professional photographer with a background, perfect lighting. Anybody could have got their picture taken. I mean, seriously, I could have grabbed the trophy and I saw just a couple of regular people got their picture taken in this room.
Lots of
And
people.
it was pretty wild, and it was just open. Anybody could go in there. So Jokic was one of the last ones there, and that's why I took the photo. That's why they took the trophy with them, because I think they were basically done with the photos and stuff. So I followed his family down the corridor, and it was really cool because he had his daughter on his shoulders, and then some photographers came up to him, and I believe they were from Japan, and they asked him to do the song. So he brought his daughter down from his shoulders. That's a 7-foot horsey ride, by the way. Maybe a little scary for a 3-year-old to be that high up in the air. I'd have been scared. And he tries to do the little thing with the song with her, and she was just kind of freaked out by the whole thing. But it was a cute moment. And then he looked around and made sure his family was with him.
Mhm.
So this is the metaphor. This is literally what happened. But, is my brother here? Is my other brother here? Their girlfriends, whoever's with them. And then they all went back into the locker room where you could hear his teammates when he came back in start chanting MVP, MVP, MVP. And that was like, I just thought like, that's a perfect way to end my night. So I intended to walk out the door at that moment because I thought, I don't even want to go in there. I saw the videos. They were not like doing Serbian dances like inside the locker room after that. So I walk out, then I run into Christian Brown shirtless with sunglasses on, with his friends who are all like 20 years old because they're kids. By the way, Peyton Watson is only 20. I'm just saying. Okay? Anyways, Christian Brown goes out, and who does he run
You're
into?
all 20 once.
Okay. Christian Brown runs out. Who does he run into with sunglasses on and his shirt off? Michael Malone. So it's like running into dad as you're trying to sneak out of the house. It was just such a classic moment because they embraced. It was kind of like, hey, be careful out there, son. But, have a nice time. And then he was like, okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Then he goes out to his car and is like, like screaming like a lunatic. But you can see with Michael Malone, that's his dad. Jamal Murray said he went to Malone and said, treat us like men. You have DeAndre Jordan, who is telling right next to Michael Malone, guys, calm down late in the game. What a wild sort of disparity, guys, of blending everything together. It's a tricky task, and hats off to Malone and staff for managing it so well.
My question is, there was rumors that they were going to be getting on a plane and heading to Vegas, but by the looks of it, I don't know if anyone made it to Vegas last night. AJ was in the streets, everyone else. I mean, Christian Brown tweeted at like 6 a.m. this morning. So
There's no way they went to Vegas last night.
Well, that's a guy who didn't sleep. If you're tweeting at 6 a.m., Christian Brown was still up. He was pulling a DMAC. His head had not hit the pillow at that point.
I'm thinking.
Aaron Gordon had his own parade downtown.
Oh my gosh.
I wrote about that at
these guys weren't
DenverSports.com too. People can go check out all those videos.
These guys weren't going to bed. There's no doubt about it. So let me tell you an interesting moment too. As I was walking out, Jamal Murray in his press conference said, David Adelman, terrible coach, can't communicate, don't hire him. Yeah. He's awful. So I see, totally joking, of course, because he's rumored to be a candidate for many jobs and the players love him. So I'm walking out and I see Adelman. And there's not many guys in the basketball world who are the same size as me. It's smaller, actually. So I see Adelman. He's got his wife and his kids who are all appropriately small size, which I love. And I go to him, hey, coach. It's not like I have a big relationship. I'm like, hey, coach, did you hear what Jamal said about you? And he goes, oh, no, what? He goes, he said you suck. You're terrible. And his wife's jaw was just like, and he of course knew I was, the context of it. He immediately, she didn't. And she must have been thinking, what? I thought Jamal was a nice guy. And I turned to her and go, oh no, he was joking. It's because he really likes, no, he's joking. It was like that. But I gave him a little fist bump and said, thank you, because I think he played a really instrumental role with this team that is very little regarded. And I don't know if he's going to stick around. I do wonder if he's going to get a job. I do wonder if he's going to be back with the team next fall. I mean, Michael Malone
those jobs are filled.
advocated for him.
Well, the good news is they've played so long, DMAC, all those jobs are filled. I'm not sure there's an opening left in the NBA. Didn't Toronto hire some cat the other day? that may have been the last one. So they may
You
have
never know,
gone-
though. Like, what are the Celtics going to do?
They've committed to Joe Mazzulla.
Okay. Well, you might be right. I hope you're right. I don't want Adelman to go anywhere.
The good news is they played for so long
Yeah.
that I think other teams kind of filled their vacancies. He'll get poached next year, but they'll probably be able to keep him for one more season, which would be great.
Oh, Jake on the back end, because Jake's getting all antsy and he's ready to come back here with us. He said the job he was most linked to was the Raptors, and they've hired. He's good. Jake's feeling confident in him staying here, which of course we would love. Oh, you always want them to like get the big job, so at the exact same time you're like, you have got something so good here that you just want him to stay. So whatever his next venture is, we of course hope that's great, but we hope he does stay here.
Do you guys think Bruce Brown sticks around?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me that question. No, I don't. I think there's some generational wealth there that can come with the sort of paycheck that I think he's going to be able to get. And right now in this moment, you're like, I want to just be able to experience this. But when you sit down, D-Mac, you just had a financial advisor meeting this morning.
Yeah, well,
No.
I don't already make millions of dollars. You know, I mean, I need to figure out.
But
yeah,
how
I
much
had a
do the
financial-
Nuggets
yeah.
even pay him? They can't pay him all that much.
I don't know what's winning compared to million. I mean, I don't know. I would never blame a guy for, getting a lot of money. But if he does have a player option. I mean, he can choose just to be here. He could simply do that. And that would give him one more year here. Is it worth it, guys? I mean, he's not that old. I mean, is it worth it for one more run at it? Even if you're not making the most money? I mean,
6.8 million versus 14.5 million or more.
I get it. How many boats can you jet ski behind? I don't know. I mean, how many horses can you try to learn how to ride if you're Bruce Brown?
Will, if you're Bruce
No.
Brown, what are you doing?
I'm not going to shame a guy for taking the money.
I'm not either.
you look at
I'm just saying it's a unique opportunity to win. That's all.
It is, but you look at the taxes these guys pay, and then they pay their agents, and then they pay the players union, and like there was a stat the other day, like Jamal Murray, $30 million is his net salary. I'm estimating here, and he pocketed like $11 million. So those numbers, $11 million is a ton of money. Don't get me wrong, but that ain't $30 million. 19 of it's going to someone else. So I wouldn't fault Bruce Brown for taking the money. The good news, I think Christian Brown is ready to step in to whatever role that may be that Bruce Brown had. He's not going to be as good from the start, but I do think he's ready for 20 to 25 minutes a game next year. And guys, all of a sudden, this is now an attractive free agent destination. So you can find the next Bruce Brown. And that's not diminishing our Bruce Brown. He's a champion forever and we'll love him. But if he leaves, you're going to go into free agency and players are going to want to come play for the Denver Nuggets that have similar resumes and skill sets to Bruce Brown, who did a year ago.
Is Bruce Brown the equivalent of Naz Kadri?
No.
You sure?
Oh, no.
Wait.
Naz Kadri was the heart and soul of the Colorado Avalanche. Bruce Brown was the 6th or 7th best player on this team.
Okay. I think he's kind of a heart and soul guy, but all right.
That's definitely interesting. All right. Well, Thursday.
You think they're going to fall apart at the seams if a sixth man of the year leaves? Whereas the Avalanche lost their second-line center, never replaced him, lost the chemistry guy, lost the toughness guy, lost the grit guy, and fell apart. Nazem Kadri at the parade was arguably the biggest hero. Bruce Brown at the parade will get a nice round of applause. He ain't the biggest hero.
Wow. Okay. I don't think Naz was the biggest hero. I think we had some other guys too.
in Tampa was the biggest hero of that entire run. The hat trick in St. Louis was the second biggest hero of that entire run.
Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar were the biggest heroes. Come on, Will. And after that is
They were the
Gabriel
best players. They were not the biggest heroes.
We're getting in a weird conversation right now.
We are. I'm just saying, to put Bruce Brown and Nazem Kadri in the same breath just surprised me. So that's all I'm saying.
I love this discussion, actually, and it will continue. Maybe not today, but I promise you we will come back to this
getting
debate.
kicked off on that.
Oh, no, because I'm going to keep
what do
you.
say something. What did you like the most about last night, Will?
Yeah, we'll end on a positive note. Hey, listen, what I liked the most in all seriousness was the tenacity on defense in the second half. They only gave up 38 points in the second half to the Miami Heat. I never thought in my wildest dreams the Denver Nuggets would win an NBA title because of their defense on a night they could not shoot the basketball. That's what was so special to me, is they buckled down on defense to deliver the first ever NBA title. What a transformation for a team that after 47 years in the final game, night they couldn't throw a basketball in the ocean, that's what's got them over the top.
I know. Oh my gosh. What did you do for the game last night, Will?
I actually had a few buddies over, which was stressful because you guys know I like to watch the game by myself, but they were like, boys, like it's the finals. Like they all have kids. They're like, I don't want to go to a bar, but like we got to be together. We've been friends since high school. We cried through the Carmelo era together, always losing in the first round. So they came over and hung out, and it was just good to be with a few close friends to watch the.
And by the way, if people don't know, Will's got the total bachelor pad. Like it's just Will living in a house. So if he's got married buddies and Will's like the hero.
Yeah, I think
All
it was
the guys
good
from
for,
that Will's house.
I think it was good for them to put the kids down and be like, all right, honey, I'm headed out. So
Peace out. Love you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Will, I'm going to keep you. I wasn't going to kick you off, but James Merlot is getting antsy in the background because the beard is gone. But just a reminder that Thursday is going to be the parade, so definitely make sure you hang out, or, of course, you can watch it online. But we will bring in James Merlot. Here's the parade route, everybody, to see what it looks like without the beard. James Merlot, let me see.
Oh! What a handsome fella.
I feel 10 years younger.
Yeah, you
And
You
10
are,
pounds
you
lighter.
are stupidly good looking. It actually pisses me off, like how good looking you are. It's annoying.
you also look 10 years younger. You
Thank
just
you.
went from like 47 to 37 days.
Oh, boy,
Does
what
it
a
feel
relief.
good?
What a relief. 2 years in a row means I got to do it again next year. So
It is absolutely the stupidest, most meaningless tradition that we have going on that you yourself are holding yourself accountable for. Literally, we'll all forget about it when you start it again next year.
Oh, that's fine. I'll remind you. Don't worry.
No, that's right. You'll remind us. None of us will be like, ooh, when's James going to start growing a beard?
At some point you will. I do this for like a decade. You'll be like, oh, it's beard season.
Your kids are going to see you today, though. I remember anytime my dad would shave his face, I would always be like, oh my God, Dad, you look so weird now. For your kids, they're going to be like, Dad, what happened?
Well, that happened last year because I did for the Avs. I did it like right after the game, and I come downstairs and my youngest was like taken aback. So they'll have the same reaction today. It'll be fun.
All right. Well, Will, James, both of you, thank you so much. Go celebrate. Have fun for the rest of the day because, of course, the Nuggets are NBA champions. Now, I got another Jokic quote that you're going to all love because it involves KCP and beer being poured. Take a listen.
It's to bring back, the players or whatever it is. But this team is special. I knew it from training camp, and just been like telling them all the way through training camp the whole season. We can do this, and just believe in ourselves and each other. I think you're done. Really nice. Now it's my turn. Good job. I guess I'm going, y'all. Give a round of applause.
Mike on the right side, fourth row.
I thought this is going to be fun. It's not fun.
Nicole, Mike Singer, Denver Post.
Can't wait.
You guys, I had to leave that in there because when he goes, can't wait, it just absolutely kills me. Or Jake Shapiro comes in. He has the towel from Miami. They didn't get it done down in the heat. Jake, good morning. How are you?
It's still true.
It's still true.
It is still true.
It will always be true.
This is just the Nuggets playoff run. Like, we've got a towel that's like the perfect history book for the Nuggets.
It's an amazing memento.
You want to see my memento? Oh my God! Look at us, Jake. So in the confetti that they had last night, these little Larry O'Brien trophies also fell down with it. Everybody was like trying to get one of these, but yes, I had to keep one too. I kept a little bit of confetti. Look at how cute they are.
I
kept a lot of confetti.
I kept a lot of confetti, but the little Larry O'Briens were hard to find. Like there's like the golden ticket, like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So there's confetti, which is just confetti, but those little doodads were mixed in.
I know, they're so cute. You want to see my other? Well, I'll briefly show it. I got handed, that right there while I was in the locker room. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to decorate it. With all the confetti that I got, I'm going to decorate that and keep it. And then you can also see my credential right there and the Avs one right there too. So it's been a really fun experience, and doing it with both of you too was really fun. Like there were some good moments, but Jake, your top moment from last night.
So on mementos, as I get into my top moment, Thomas Bryant was targeting me last night with champagne. Everywhere I was, he was like, let's get this little guy. Like, I don't know what was going on, but DMAC felt my shirt because we took a picture where we were holding each other's shirt. How wet was my shirt, DMAC?
It was sopping wet. And I got to admit, I didn't want any part of that.
Me either.
I have been part of it, believe it or not, in the Rockies clubhouse where baseball players will celebrate freaking anything, so it's kind of stupid. I love baseball, but that's a bad tradition. You should only celebrate once you win a championship, frankly.
So anyway, there's all this stuff going on. The point is,
it actually kind of, I don't know how you felt. I think it kind of sucks. I saw Romy Bean and it looked miserable. I mean, it looks fun at the time, but then you got to deal with it. It's kind of a wreck.
Yeah, I got very few usable quotes. I got one usable quote that was just amazing, which is Calvin Booth saying, "We want 3 more." Aaron Gordon, all-time 15-second interview, which is just, "We own basketball now. It's the Mile High City. The NBA comes through Denver," while sopping wet and probably very drunk. I got him from an underneath angle, so he just looks like an Adonis saying it. It's like the perfect video. But on the mementos, as I get into my favorite thing, I'm standing there and there's just chaos. It's like a war zone of champagne bottles popping off all around me, and everyone's trying to collect their own mementos. And there's like these Monet bottles, and then there's these like chalices they're drinking out of, and then there's also goggles. I was not going to grab any of it. I planned to grab the confetti, and I'm just standing there with my phone out like this, and I'm not even kidding you. One of the corks landed on top of my phone. Like, I just caught it, and I'm like, all right, it's destiny. I'll put one of these in my pocket. Like, I don't want to be the guy that goes down and grabs something, but this landed in my lap. So I've got a cork in the other room. That'll be like Rachel's Michelob bottle. That's my momentum. But as far as coolest moment, it's a tie. One, I saw Jokic in the locker room for maybe 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
He was the happiest I've ever seen him. He had his arms up, just smiling with Vlatko. It was so cool to see. And then secondarily, Bruce Brown encapsulated everything everyone was feeling. It was so funny because I've got my mini Larry, but he was like, taking pictures with Larry. He's like, Christian, come in, take pictures with Larry. And then someone would come in and like, hey, can I grab the trophy? Bruce would be like, okay. 10 seconds later, it's like, Bruce is like, you know what? Give me my trophy back. Bruce could not let go of the Larry O'Brien trophy. Every 5 minutes, Bruce was back with it, taking more pictures. That dude is so proud of it. And it was really cool to see because that guy, and I think the Kadri comparison is a little apt because he's not necessarily part of the Nuggets core, but he is going to go down as an all-time Nugget, and it's just one season. Like, I'm serious. Like, I'm cool with getting a Bruce Brown jersey. I'm cool with putting a statue up. I'm cool with retiring that dude's number. Like, that dude left an all-time impact on the Denver Nuggets, and he let it all out last year. And he gave it his all for us for, 90 games. It was incredible.
Wow. Big Bruce Brown fan, apparently. I'll get on board with the Jokic, possibly the Jamal Murray. Well, probably the Jamal Murray one, but the rest might have to wait.
Get AG in there. Let's go.
AG, what a freaking day for him, though. I was standing right next to his family while they were all up on the podium, and the emotions from everybody in his family, you guys, was incredible. And he comes over and he is just crying, and his eyes are so red, and he was just so happy and emotional. And I don't even have the words to explain it, but you could just tell it meant so much to him. And those are the moments that you absolutely love to see. Like, it meant the absolute world to him, and you could tell they wanted this so badly, D-Mac.
Jake, do you know where Aaron Gordon lives? I don't want you to give away his address, but do you know where he lives?
Roughly.
So how long of a parade did he have? I mean, how long was he walking down the streets to wherever he lives?
So based on the videos and my experience parsing together what happened, I walked out of the arena with Aaron last night, who was wearing his game shorts, like some slides and some socks and no shirt. He got into the passenger seat of his car, and he's like, if this is my chair, he's like dangling off the side of the window going like that, up and down in the car. It was awesome, and the fans were parading. The next time we saw him in one of these videos, he is walking through the streets, because what I ran into trying to get home last night, because I live downtown, I couldn't get anywhere. All the streets were blocked off. You couldn't get downtown. They stopped letting people in. So every street towards downtown is blocked off. So I think there's a chance he walked from Chopper Circle and Spear all the way down towards Rhino. Like, I'm not going to give the exact.
No way.
But I think he lives like towards like Brighton Boulevard area-ish. And I'm not surprised, or if he eventually called an Uber or something. But the videos that we saw all seemed to happen within a couple block radius of where all the action was, which was like Market between 17th and 20th.
That's a long way to go, actually. I thought he might be walking like a block or something, so.
Well, there's a chance he has two places downtown. I know he's got the warehouse, but he might have a condo that we don't know about as well closer.
Okay.
Well,
he makes a lot of money.
He does.
He does make a lot of money. Wow. I can't, if he did walk all that way, I'm like, holy smokes. But I'm sure he had somebody like with him,
I don't know.
He was getting escorted by police officers. If you look at the video, there was like 4 police officers around him as he was parading.
Okay.
D-Mac, if you paid attention, every single Nuggets player, anywhere they went, they had one person who was hanging out with them the entire time. For safety.
I'm sure you're right. It was just a wild video of him just, it looked like he was just in a mosh pit moving in through downtown Denver. I mean, I've really never quite seen anything like that.
I want to give you my quote unquote mosh pit story. So I'm trying to get down onto the court for the podium stuff, right? And I am just like squeezing past security. I'm like, all right, what's the best angle that I can get? But yet I'm still like up close. I finally like get around the corner, and I'm still having to be behind the rope. But I like walk up in front of these people who paid a lot of money to be in these tickets. So I kind of felt a little bad, because here I am with my camera, like sticking it right in front of their face, being like, sorry. And I look to my right, and I am right next to Russell Wilson and Sierra. And I'm like, oh, hello there. And I look to my left, and I am right next to a creator of South Park. And I'm like, well, hello there. And their emotion from, I can't remember his name, the creator of South Park. It's blanking me at this moment.
It's either Matt Stone or Trey Parker.
The other one, not Trey Parker, I'm pretty sure.
Matt Stone.
He's the main guy. He's like the guy. And it's not just South Park, which is amazing. It's also Book of Mormon and a bunch of other stuff.
And Casa Bonita.
I should have asked him about Casa Bonita. I didn't, though, and it's a huge mistake on my end. But he was so emotional too, you guys. And I end up talking to Russell Wilson's security guy too, and he's like, I keep telling Russ, man, that this place knows how to celebrate. He should get ready because they know how to celebrate. And I'm like, they do. It's going to take a lot of work to get there, though, everybody. But it was just so wild to be standing next to both of those people and just seeing the emotion of like, oh my gosh, the Nuggets actually did it. And yeah, and Matt Stone, right? Matt Stone? Perfect.
Matt Stone, yeah.
The small tears he had in his eyes of just like, this moment is so crazy. It was so cool to see you guys. Yesterday was so much fun. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. I can't wait.
What's stopping them from a rinse and repeat to next year? What exactly will get in their way?
God forbid.
I mean, aside from injury, what else would stop them from being in the same place next year?
So on the injury thing, because we haven't talked about it, the Nuggets starting five was the same starting five the entire postseason.
Yeah.
They changed up the finishing five. Even last night, they didn't finish with Porter. They finished with Bruce instead. They're going to have to replace Bruce. Christian is ready, I think, to do some of the wing stuff that Bruce is and play 20 minutes a night. They need a secondary ball handler off the bench who can run, pick and roll, do some actions. They need a backup center that's suitable over the course of 82 games. There's some things that they need. And honestly, they're in position to be able to get them for next year. Next year, I fully expect the Denver Nuggets to be back in this situation. The new collective bargaining agreement is going to have ramifications on this potential dynasty that really are going to start to hurt not next year, but in 2025, 2026, 2024, 2025, the following season, not next year, but the following season, and then going forward. So what's going to prevent them? DMAC, no one was injured. Michael Porter Jr. missed 11 games. Nikola missed 10 games. Jamal missed 10 games. Aaron missed 7 games. They were one of the healthiest teams in basketball. They earned it. It was a blessing because they had so much bad luck before that. But they're going to have to find a way to stay healthy with a very short offseason, which is going to be challenging. That's when they all got hurt, by the way, was after a very short offseason in the post-bubble season and then the post-bubble season, which was also a very short offseason. So those are going to be challenges. It seems like their coaching staff is going to largely remain together, which is huge. They've got some rookie development. They can trade up in the draft and maybe strike gold there. So you're right. Nothing's necessarily stopping them. And we can go into the larger NBA picture in the next couple weeks, but the West is in shambles. The East is wide open. There isn't another team that's clearly, okay, they're on the cusp or they're great. Milwaukee's the next best team in the NBA, and they've got some serious things to do this offseason. And then you've got teams like Oklahoma City who are going to be awesome, but realistically, they're 2 years out still.
I say go on. And honestly, if Bruce Brown chooses to stay, that's incredible. That would be, oh my gosh, just incredible.
And on that real quick, Rach, so it's very unlikely Bruce comes back because of the salary, and we all understand it. No one will fault him in Denver. We will love him, and there's going to be people
it is his option, though. It is his option.
And the Nuggets, the smart thing to do, DMAC, is for him to decline the option, and then he can get a 20% raise. But that 20% raise is not going to be what he can get in free agency still. The Nuggets just don't have the capabilities to offer him.
You know what, though?
But DMAC, on your point, Bobby Portis, after Milwaukee won, had that same option, turned it down, signed a 1-year deal to stay with Milwaukee, then opted out after the following season, and then he could finally get offered a long-term deal by the team where they completely rewarded him for the year's worth of efforts. So that is a possibility, and it has been done in recent NBA history.
If there's one guy, personality-wise, to do something unconventional, I think it's Bruce Brown. I mean, he has been one of the most unique personalities, period. I don't think he's married, is he? I don't think he is. So
there's some stuff going on there, but he's not married.
I was going to say he's not married, but
all right. I know what Jake's talking about. I'm rolling my eyes now, so let's not get into that.
Cowboy
But
Bruce Brown.
I'll just say if there's anybody that might do something unconventional, it may be Cowboy Bruce Brown.
Maybe. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise, it wouldn't shock me. Let me put it that way. It may surprise me, but it wouldn't shock me 100% if he chose to stay. It would be great. Nuggets Nation would be like, oh my gosh, this is incredible.
He would be turning down millions of dollars to do that. And that's, I'm not going to put that on anybody if he doesn't.
Jake, how old is he?
Oh, that's a good question. I think
26, maybe?
26? Yeah,
okay.
He's 26.
I mean, these
so
guys.
You do the 1-year option, you win a second championship. How much does that bump you in millions for you to sign a contract after that?
It has nothing to do with winning a championship for the Nuggets because they would basically offer him after next year the most they could offer him, which I think would end up being like 11 or 15 or 18 million a year.
No, but I'm saying for another team. If he chooses to stay
after
again,
next year he decided to leave. I don't know that his value will ever be higher. He's likely not really a star level player in the NBA. He's one of these middle class guys. So he's going to get a non-taxpayer mid-level exception, whether it's this year or next year.
Mhm.
It's going to be harder to give those out next year, again, because of the new collective bargaining agreement. The middle class is really going to take a hitting there. So if he somehow finds a way to turn himself into the third most important Nugget, which some could argue was true this year. I think he was 5. He was really good. But if he could be the guy that's like the third guy, but behind Jamal and Nikola, he all of a sudden then goes from being a middle-class guy to a guy that someone is going to give a max contract to in free agency. I highly doubt that that's going to happen to a 27-year-old guard who is both undersized and doesn't really have a position.
I'm curious, real quick. So Jokic, Jamal, AG, who's your fourth, and then Bruce?
Porter, then Bruce.
Okay.
And honestly, KCP throughout the course of the regular season was 5. So Bruce was 6. And then in the playoffs, I think he was probably 5. I think Bruce was a little bit better than KCP, but both were fantastic. We're picking at straws there.
Here's the truth about Bruce. The Nuggets really had 6 starters. If you looked at the minutes, if you really broke down the minutes, they had 6 starters, and he was the 6th starter.
Mm-hmm.
He is absolutely perfect in the role that he runs right now. He could start for probably 20 of the 30 teams in the NBA. However, like Jake just pointed out, that role may be a little queasy because he said he didn't get any offers, not really, to basically play point guard, which is weird. Like, is he really a point guard? I'm like, all right. I mean, I guess you are, kind of. But Jake's right. He's kind of positionless, and he's at a very weird size to be positionless. But he plays like he's 6'9".
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's staggering, his athleticism and what he can do. So he's in a very odd position because, okay, you're now a starter for Oklahoma City. I'm just picking a team out of thin air. Well, now what? How do you really blend in with everybody else? And you may see an example where it's not that great. Really, seriously, it might not suit his skill level, even though he certainly has the talent to get paid. He's a tricky one, guys. He is a tricky one on the market. I think he would need to go somewhere. I don't know. He probably needs to go somewhere where he still comes off the bench, frankly. But they just got money to spend on somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hey, don't forget, like Duncan Robinson signed a 5-year, $90 million deal, okay? And he comes off the bench for the Heat.
Off of one postseason run, basically. I think he would be a starting 2 guard for a lot of teams in the NBA. The perfect match would be a team that has, honestly, the Dallas Mavericks would kind of be a perfect match for him, where he would be next to Luka Doncic. He would be the defender. He's also a combo guard. He's doing a lot of the dirty work. So it would be next to a team that has not an undersized point guard, but is offensively focused, and he's doing more of the dirty things. Another team to watch would be Charlotte, and putting him next to LaMelo Ball. I think Dame's a little too undersized, and they've got too many guards in Portland.
Yeah, but like, Jake, what you're bringing up, you're going into the abyss. I mean, all right, but
that's the teams that have money, D-Mac. Those are the teams that have money.
God, don't you want to win another one?
Sure, but there's a reason why Jeremy Grant got paid by Detroit. It's because that was the only team that really could do that.
Money.
It's winning or taking the money. There's not really a middle road there.
When does this all have to happen by the way?
So Bruce Brown's option has to be picked up by June 21st. So that's next Wednesday.
Wow.
So that's a week from today, I think, right? Or a week from tomorrow. And then the draft is the Thursday. So the Nuggets will know, likely going into the draft, if Bruce is going to come back, because he's going to decline the option, and then the Nuggets are going to offer him that 20% raise. And Bruce is going to have a pretty good idea into talking to his agent what his offers are going to be like July 1st. So the Nuggets draft pick is likely either going to be taking a backup guard, replacing Bruce Brown, giving them another option with Christian and Peyton, or taking a center who will be available next year. Because quietly last week, the Nuggets did make a trade. We talked a little bit about it on Coffee Break. But that same day, their second-round pick from last year, Ishmael Kamagate, who's a 7-foot rim-running big, decided to sign to stay in Europe. So he will not be coming over this summer, which means the Nuggets will be looking for a backup center. And I wouldn't be too surprised if DeAndre Jordan is one of those options, but they likely need someone between Jokic and DeAndre.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Interesting. Well, of course, there's going to be lots of off-season talk here on Coffee Break going forward. But today we celebrate the Nuggets being NBA champions, everybody, as we get ready for the parade come Thursday. Of course, join us tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. for another episode of Coffee Break with all the latest and greatest news. And we will see you guys then. Enjoy today, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye.